You got your soulmate or do you have your cellmate? We're going to venture those topics. We're going to help you figure out here in just a moment. Be right back.
Welcome to the Lion's Den. Grab a seat and join the conversation. Let's dive in.
Welcome, friends. So glad you're back with us on this Friday after we took last Friday off. We sure miss you and glad you're back. We've got an exciting program today. And before we get with our two co-hosts who you know quite well, again, we have the famous Flowtown Flo. She's with us. She's going to update you on what we have going on here today. Flo, you with us today?
1 second.
Hear me?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. There you go, Flo. Welcome to
There you
the
go. Happy
show.
Friday, guys.
Happy Friday
Glad
to
to
you.
be here.
Good to have you with us.
Glad to be here. Well, let's
Proceed and
go ahead and get started on
proceed and
this.
tell us what we got going on this weekend in the PD and the coastal area of South Carolina.
Well, I'm going to start off with Matilda Jr. at the Florence Little Theater. That's going to happen tonight at 7:30, Saturday 3 and 7:30, and Sunday at 3. And then the PD Ice Cats are playing the Commissioner Cup Finals, and we're going to have watch parties at the Florence Civic Center since they're playing out of town tonight, Saturday, and Sunday if needed. Now it's free admission, and the doors are going to open at 6:30. Come out and support your PD Ice Cats. And then from the School of Dance Art at the FMU PAC, we're going to have Soda Under the Neon Lights. They will perform tonight at 7 and Saturday at 10 a.m. If you're an early riser, I won't be making that one. But tonight at 7 for tonight at 7 and Saturday at 10 a.m. And then we're going to go to Addie's Baby Paint and Wine Studio. If you've never done that, that is a treat. I really enjoyed doing that. She's got classes all weekend long, excuse me. Friday at 6 o'clock, trap, paint, and groove with a live DJ while you paint a glow neon earth. Saturday at 11, there's a mommy, me, and a cute tree paint class. And at 6 p.m. Saturday, there's a paint and glow flamingo. And then Sunday on Mother's Day at 5 p.m., you can paint Mother's Midnight Glow. Then moving on tonight at 6 o'clock, there's live music from D Talon at the Crew Wine and Tap. And then tonight at 7, there's live music from Schaefer Poston at Southern Hops. And then if you happen to be in Darlington, there is live music at the Darlington Public Square from 6 to 9 from the Josh Brannon Band. Then tomorrow morning, the City Center Farmers Market in downtown Florence from 9 to 1. Get your produce on. And then Sunday on Mother's Day, after church, you can take your mama on down to Holy Smoking, and they're going to have Wayward Blues Sunday from noon to 3. Now, if you happen to be down at the beach, now I got a couple of things going on for you. The Long Bay Symphony tomorrow is going to present Shaken Not Stirred, the music of James Bond at 7 p.m. the Myrtle Beach High School Music Arts Center. And you can wear your best James Bond attire, your tuxedos, sleek gowns, timeless elegance, just show out like you were in a James Bond movie. So that ought to be fun. And then if that's not your speed, the Long Beach Symphony has the sounds of Earth, Wind, and Fire tomorrow at 7:30, and that's at the Long Beach Arena at 300 East Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach. So got a lot going on this weekend, whether you're at the beach, whether you're in Florence or Darlington. So find something you love to do and just do it and have a good time.
Hey, Flo, there's no reason to be bored in the PD or the coastal area this weekend, is there?
That's right.
Hey, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. Thank you for bringing us all these events, and we shall see you next week.
Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Bye, guys.
Very good, Flo. See ya. Okay, guys. So one of our newest additions that we've done is our 2-minute rants before we start on today's topic. Jack Rock, you had the privilege last week. I had the privilege before. So we're going to go to the mighty devil dog, Mr. Zeb Boykin, for his 2-minute rant, and his time starts now.
Oh, that was quick. All right, give me. I didn't even halfway set up for this thing. But yeah, I got a couple things on the mind that I want to talk about, but I can't only do one rant on one thing. One thing is going to be. I guess I'll save a couple of them for the other one. But we're going to talk about wielding power, right? What is even the point of running for office or any of these? Everything I do is political, but in the just a general context, right? We go after these things. If you hold a seat of power and then you refuse to do anything with it, why are you even there, right? And so if we're going to, I don't even remember what I texted myself. I was like, rant, wielding power, but as a general, I don't remember what spurred this on, but just as a general, it's not only wielding power, but then not doing what you claimed that you were going to do when you ran for the office itself. But that's an entire rant in it, and another rant in itself. But this idea of wielding power, and so I go back and I try to remember. We went to North Myrtle Beach. I think I asked Rodney to go with us to a Charlie Kirk event. I don't think he can make it, but anyway, that's what Charlie Kirk spoke about before, like a month before he was assassinated. Was we need to wield power for Christ, for Christians, for Americans specifically. And I think we need to kind of get back to that. You know, we've lost that. It's really wielding power to win again, to wield power again, right? That's what it has evolved into. And there's no movement forward because there's no incentive to move forward other than for oneself, people acting in their self-interest. We need to find people that are willing to essentially sacrifice, right? This is what the office is. This is what holding those positions ought to be and have been for a very long time, up until, I don't know, modern times, give or take 80 years or so, has been for the greater good of the nation itself. And so we need to kind of get back to that. And again, I mean, there's so many tentacles of this thing is that, they wield power, but they wield it for a foreign lobby. Yeah, they wield power, but they wield it for a corporate organization that lobbies them. And right. And I don't deny that nature itself kind of funnels that power into where the money is coming from, and there is that aspect to it. Maybe something that spurred this on was like recently the Ohio race with Casey Push running against Vivek Ramaswamy with the GOP up there. They were endorsing Vivek, and it's like Vivek is not an Ohioan. He not really. Not only that, he's an anchor baby. And then you have Casey Push that's born and raised, built businesses, served his community up there. And then they essentially abandon Ohio, much like Virginia is doing. And so when it all boils down, I think at the end of the day, if you're going to run, you need to run to win, yes, but also what is even the point if you're just going to bend over for the money?
Bravo, sir. You went over 30 seconds, but it was so fascinating and so interested. And Zeb always got a way of throwing that intellect in there. I enjoyed it so much. We extended you 30 more seconds. Good job, my man.
I appreciate the generosity over here.
So mine won't be nearly as extravagant as Zeb's. Not even going to attempt. That's the intellect of bunches. My rant is this. Very simple. I'm a sports fan. Many people know that. Officiating. A lot of people know that at times I do on CW 21. I'm do the high school sports games. And so I get to spend a lot of time on the field with the referees. Let me tell you, the most gentleman people you'll ever meet. Usually they come from professional backgrounds. You've got even attorneys out there, businessmen, accounting. Listen, officials don't win or lose the game. Have you ever heard a sports fan Well, we won that game because of the officials. No, never. We lost that game because we had to fight the opponents and the officials. Pure nonsense. Get that out of your vocabulary. Officials don't win or lose games. They're not cheating against your team. You look kind of silly when you make those points. So there's no rules, Zeb. Never did I say, could you not have 2 rants? I have another one, and I'm going to be within my allotted time. Facebook, social media. Look, if you're one of those that air your personal business, especially as it relates to a significant other or someone you just broke up with, you're bashing them, bringing them down, talking negative in every kind of way, stop that. You look foolish. None of us want to hear it. In fact, when I see someone do that, I examine the person that's authoring that post. You look worse than the person you're bashing. Get that off your social media. You look silly. Enough. Ran over. Jack Rock, it's on you. What 2 minutes do you got to deliver today?
Ain't really got nothing, but I'll share something with you that ran across my mind when I walked in the door and looked at you and Zeb. Character. I want to share my feeling of character with you guys. Now, in my mind, when wealth is gone, nothing is lost. When health is gone, something is lost. When you're, what are we talking about?
You talk about whatever you want.
I was going to see if you were paying attention.
I'm listening.
When your character is gone, all is lost. Everything is lost. The other stuff really didn't make any difference. Now, well, it did make some difference, but I'll said all that to ask you a question out there in TV land and you and Zeb. What if on Judgment Day, when you walk before God Almighty and Jesus Christ, your lawyer on Judgment Day, what if all he showed you, no questions, why you did this, film of everything? What if he didn't do anything except show you your credit score? Where would you be at if he showed you nothing but your credit score? Where would you be? You asked me if I remembered something a long time ago when we first came in here. Well, something that run across my mind with this character thing was I had a close loved one time when I was in high school, 7th grade, and it was a nasty letter. This person owed some money, a little small amount a day, but back then it was probably a lot if you ain't got nothing. And it bothered me. I went and got me one of them government schoolhouse jobs, and I worked till I paid that note off for that person. Nobody taught me that. No one taught me that. I just knew that you're supposed to pay your creditors. Where's your character at? Amen.
Zeb, I got to tell you, so let's give out the award today. The most intellect rant today, I have to give to Zeb. You're second. You did much better than I did. And here's what you're uncanny at. You're 2 minutes on the spot. Do you go home and do you rehearse this?
He practices. Don't let him.
2 minutes on the spot.
Don't let him fool you. He practices.
Well, to start with, I didn't have nothing to talk about. We're talking about character. How you looking at somebody?
Well, look, you always think you so daggum smart. I got something for you.
Lay it on me, cuz.
Which is closer, the state of Texas or the moon?
Mr. Professor, that's one of your trick questions, and here's my answer to you on the test. You cannot see Texas from here.
That's where I was going. You can't see Texas.
You can't see Texas from here. How stupid you think I am?
I guess I delivered him a softball, as you would put it, right, Zeb?
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind went. I was like, I can see the moon.
Well, besides what he says his mental capacity is so enlarged. Since you're so smart, we're going to talk a little bit about your strength then. How many push-ups? How many pull-ups can you do? Push-ups, pull-ups.
You tell me how
This
many.
ain't no trick question. You don't know how many push-ups you can do?
I've never tried. I don't do push-ups.
Pull-ups?
I do bench presses.
Okay.
You know, push-ups does the same thing.
So do you know? Yeah, that's very true. So do you know how many push-ups that Chuck Norris? Do you know how many push-ups Chuck Norris can do?
0.
All he could.
That was a bad joke.
All,
That was a bad joke.
all of them. Had you heard that before, Zeb?
Hey,
Yeah, but Chuck Norris is dead, and I said none.
hey, would that come under the heading?
I apologize for that one. It just came out.
Would that come under the heading as corny as Kellogg's cornflakes?
Perhaps, but I'm not the best joke teller in the world.
But I liked it.
So, Lance, then that may be my last joke. So, guys, let's get to the topic of hand. What I've been promising, what I teased was, are you with your cellmate? Are you with your soulmate? So we're going to talk about relationships today, and we've got some pretty good clips and videos, but I want to start it off this way. And I think some people will resonate with me. I don't think either one of you will, so you're going to have to pay attention and stay with me, right? So we all desire relationships, we're in relationships, or we just got out of a relationship. I can remember back in the 4th grade, and I'm after your time, I'm before your time. I can remember in the 4th grade, what we did in school, one of the funnest things we did was on Valentine's Day. The teacher would get these brown bags and we'd get the decorated with Valentine's, right? And we'd hang them up above our lockers. And on Valentine's Day, we would get, the little cards. You could buy them in bulk at the little stores. I don't even think we had Walmarts back then, but you'd buy them in bulk. And my dad was real frugal, so we didn't get to spend a lot of money. So you'd buy a package of, say, about 30, 35, which was about the amount of people that was in your class. And in that little package, you had like 4 special Valentines that were a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer than the rest of them. And then you had about 20 or 25 other little ones that resembled all the others. And I can remember I'd get those 4, I'd pick out, and I'd put in the bag of the prettiest girls there was. And the rest of them, I'd just give the regular Valentines. By the same token, I'd always check who gave me the good Valentine. And I always was hoping it was the prettiest girls. So dating all the way back to the 4th grade, I'm making the point that, you were kind of looking for relationships back then. So today we're going to talk about some relationships. Jack Rock, do you remember your first girlfriend?
Yes, I sure do.
Go.
One of the greatest girls ever lived. Even
How old?
Vanna White.
how old was she?
That was everybody's girlfriend.
How old was she?
How was she? And you?
She was probably in the 7th, and I was like in the 10th or 11th grade, and we stayed friends, sweethearts all the way through high school.
Okay. And so was it more of a platonic or was it a crush?
Just more Emma quenched and Emma Queen.
Vocabulary
They
check.
call that a situationship now.
Really? Okay.
I mean, really, to me, I thought I was in love, but she probably didn't think that way because she's the one who broke it off. She finally come to her senses.
When she got a little bit older, she was only in the 7th grade, so she probably wasn't equipped with a lot of mentality.
Well, you're talking about the senator's son.
Well, did you have that beard and ponytail in the 10th grade?
Come out the
Didn't
womb
even
like that.
have a peach fuzz.
Okay, going on a whole nother topic. We're gonna stay on topic. But before we got on, these two, like they do every week, they're comparing their beards and mustaches. And to their credit, they both grow a pretty daggum beard and mustache. If I could, I would.
Rodney sounds jealous today.
Well, it's
Don't let Rodney fool you. His is cleaned up pretty good right now with his pencil mustache coming across his upper lip. You just can't see it on screen.
I never quite had the ability that you guys have there. So, Zeb, how about do you recall your first girlfriend? And look,
I mean, y'all,
his wife is watching, but this is fair game because we're talking years ago.
Y'all
Don't
pulling
call
like
her name.
4th grade and 7th grade, man. Here's what I gotta say: y'all didn't play football hard enough. That's what I gotta say because I don't remember anything prior to high school. Okay, and so to that note, me and the wife have been together. My wife have been together for since 9th grade. So anything prior to that, I don't even remember. So I guess that's a get out of jail free card.
I think that's
for me.
You just used the word. What was the situational thing? That's
situationship.
That's the situation memory is what you got there.
No, I got it. We hit people too hard on the football field. That's what that was.
No, sir. If that be the case, I wouldn't remember. See, here's the difference between me and you. I was doing the hitting. You was getting hit.
No. See, that's one
playing
thing.
That private school ball. You was getting hit.
That's one thing.
I was doing the hitting.
That's one thing I'll hang my helmet on. I never got blindsided. Never got hit like that. Dude. Listen, all of our game films on the internet. That was before your time. Before the camcorder y'all were playing. So you don't really.
Yeah, y'all got face masks and all that kind of stuff in your area. We didn't have no face masks.
Yeah,
that's why my nose is so big. I can tell. Several times. Dylan, we played Lakeview and Dillon. We played that. Man, look, we're all Dillon County boys, so we played real ball down here, folks. Make no mistake about that.
At one time, Dillon and Lakeview was the longest running rival in the state.
Yeah. Also, the most lopsided. With them Wildcats whooping up on them Gators.
Hey, let me tell you something. Go back and check the records and see how many years.
I'm going to bring it back to you next week. And
I'm telling you.
You're going to get down on your knees and apologize to me.
I'm not talking about the Jackie Hayes era now. I'm talking about before the Jackie Hayes era. What we talking about, it went even. Matter of fact, last time I checked, Lakeview might have been ahead 3 games. Hey, it weren't. Because Dillon never had nothing.
They did not keep records.
Chapman showed up.
They didn't keep records in 1915. Jack Rock, no records. They didn't keep records in 1915 when you played.
Well, I know one thing. Lakeview state championship, first state championship in football was in 1938. So,
full disclosure, Lakeview's bad to the bone in football. Hey, we got to get back on topic.
Listen,
right?
I knew the can of worms I was opening when I went that way. I thought Rodney would cut it off a little sooner.
Hey,
we got a little bit of time today.
When you start pounding helmets together, that is a relationship.
Absolutely, 100%.
So you ain't too far off.
Okay, Michael, James Orr, Jimmy Ford, Fred Goss, Zach, good to see you guys with us. Add your comments. We watch them, we share them. So we're going to dive in. So I get to ask myself the question, what was my first crush? Funny enough, right across the street from me. I'll keep it anonymous to protect the innocent. But she was my age, and she was more of a friend than a girlfriend. Very pretty, and I'll never forget. We always rough around and play. Very beautiful little girl. Remember one day I was playing too rough, and I guess we were about 10 or 11 years old, and we were tussling, and she fell down. Didn't throw her down. She broke her arm. I thought her daddy was going to kill me. I ran in that house, and I didn't come out the house for 2 weeks. But I can remember the first girl I kissed. Won't say that name either to protect. Well, yeah, I will, because it's old folks. Missy McLaurin was her name. Most beautiful girl. My first kiss. Had a crush on her all my life. But here's what happens. We're the same age. When you get on into high school, all the older guys took a liking to her. You know, these young girls, they like the older guys much better. So I lost to an older fella on that one. So guys, so we're talking about soulmates. We're talking about cellmates, one or the other. And we've got some videos we're going to show, but I'll tell you right off, I think you can fall in love with hundreds of people. I personally don't think there's such thing as a soulmate. I think I may be able to make the case scripturally and particularly through some videos here. So although you may say you have your soulmate, and to you, it very well may be, but it's so much more in depth than just a soulmate. When Jack Rock throws his little hand up, that means he wants to speak, so the floor is yours.
Question for y'all to be thinking about that all of you already know the answer.
Can I stop you? Can I ask you a question? How many times have I asked you not to ask me and Zeb questions?
I'm asking
This question's for y'all, okay? You know better than to ask those questions right now.
Just to give you something to be while Rodney is going through his little film thing here. Be thinking about this. Where did love even originate from? Okay, go ahead.
Well,
y'all be thinking about it.
You want to go ahead and answer it? Or answer, brother.
See if somebody pops up here.
Well, we ain't going to wait on them. They may do it in time, but we can't.
I'll go ahead and answer.
You do
Save
that.
time.
You do
God
that.
is love.
When God created Adam and Eve, he was nothing but pure love. That's what makes God so great, and why I, sorry as I am, can make it into heaven is because the Almighty Creator is nothing but pure love. Nothing but pure. It's hard for us to imagine. But when you get to heaven on Judgment Day and you put your eyes on him, you're going to see nothing but pure love. And I ask God sometimes, why did you give me? You know, because you can have too much heart and feeling for people. Sometimes you think, oh, you know, nobody appreciates it. But think what God goes through with us not appreciating it, what he does.
Yeah. Billy Cannon, you hit too. I appreciate that comment. You knew how to hit too, and you were a much better athlete. The old buddy, another old PC buddy that's tuned in here.
Is that his name, Billy Cannon?
Billy Cannon.
That's the name,
He's a Florence guy. That's a football name, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
He was an athlete too. But the South Florence guy. He played at South Florence. Hey, so back to you, Jack Rock, and then back to our topic today: relationships. So what did God do? He yanked that rib out of your rib cage and said, I want a helper for you. So that certainly indicates not necessarily a soulmate, but we needed a helper. We needed a companion, which exhibits more love, right?
Tell me what Adam's response was. Okay, I'll look at them. I'm sorry.
Never get through to that boy.
Tell me.
Asking us questions.
We'll
never get through.
Tell me what Adam's response was when God let him see Eve.
It's a joke.
Why don't you tell me?
It's a joke. Whoa, man.
Come
What
on,
was it,
man.
Jack? Go for it.
Come on, we talking about Bible people here.
Well, go on and answer.
Is it a joke or is it a serious question?
No, it's serious.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say a
One
joke.
of the most beautiful creations God ever created, other than Lucifer. He tells how beautiful Lucifer was. He explains how beautiful Eve was. What did Adam was in that garden? No telling, he might have been there 1 billion years before he asked God, you know, I'm getting lonely down here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't come and stay all the time. You just show up every once in a while like Zeb does at the podcast.
It is. I mean,
So,
yeah.
so
If he don't show up, this don't happen.
So God told Adam the next time he run that by him, he said, I got a surprise for you, bud.
Mm.
And when he pulled the curtain back, I want to know from people out there or from you two guys, I am not telling you what Adam's response was.
All right, so I guess we'll move on.
Before the show is over, somebody's going to tell me.
We'll keep a watch on and see if we do get
See if you get a
we'll
response.
see if we get an answer on that. So look, relationships are so important, right? There are certain things called the Jezebel spirit, and we'll dive into that. But the best thing that I think we can kick off with, Zeb, if you get ready to pull up this first video, this is going to be about 3 or 4 minutes long, but I encourage you to stay with us on this because this woman here speaks a mouthful of truth. We're all evolving and relationships change. And I really grown fond of this woman when I watched her videos. So shoot it. Stay with us. Listen to it, folks.
I'm 96 years old. I was married to my husband for 64 years before he passed. And I need to tell you something that nobody wants to hear. You probably married the wrong person. And that's okay. Let me explain before you close this, because what I'm about to tell you is the only reason we made it 64 years. And it's the opposite of everything you've been told about love and marriage and finding your soulmate. When I was 24, I married Robert. He was handsome, kind, had a good job at the factory, made me laugh. All my friends said I was lucky. My mother cried happy tears at the wedding. I thought I'd found the one, the person I was meant to be with. By year 3, I wasn't sure anymore. He left dishes in the sink. He was quiet when I wanted to talk. He wanted to talk when I wanted quiet. He spent money differently than I did. He disciplined our daughter in ways I didn't agree with. We fought about his mother. We fought about my friends. We fought about things so small I can't even remember them now, but they felt enormous then. I thought, I made a mistake. This isn't what marriage is supposed to feel like. I must have married the wrong person. I was 27. I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I was having coffee with my neighbor Margaret, who'd been married 30 years. I told her I wasn't happy, that maybe Robert and I weren't right for each other. I waited for her to comfort me, to tell me I deserved better. Instead, she laughed, not cruelly, but really laughed. Then she said something I've never forgotten. Honey, we all married the wrong person. The trick is deciding to make them the right person anyway. I didn't understand what she meant. Not then. Here's what I understand now, 7 decades later. The person you marry is not the person you stay married to. They can't be, because people change. You change. Life changes you both in ways you can't predict on your wedding day. The man I married at 24 is not the man I buried at 88. Robert at 30 was ambitious and energetic and impatient. Robert at 50 was tired and worried about money and distant. Robert at 70 was soft and silly and held my hand at movies. Robert at 85 needed me to cut his food and remind him to take his pills. Which one did I marry? All of them. None of them. And I changed too. I was shy at 24. Opinion.
How powerful is that, folks? That is absolutely powerful. Jack Rock has a little problem hearing, but were you able to read what she was saying?
Yes, I got every bit.
So this is so, hey, Robin, you are so blessed. You and your husband serve as very much great example for many of us. So young folks, I hope you heard this. So I've been divorced twice, very, not ashamed of it, but certainly not proud of being divorced twice. But young couples, hang in there, because you change throughout relationships, and so many people give up so early. So look, we're going to take this moment right here, Jack Rock, for instance, and he don't mind talking about this. Jack Rock and I have become very best friends. Zeb as well. We've all known each other for some time, but there's mutual trust, respect amongst us three, despite being part of 3 generations. So Jack Rock lost his wife some time ago, but Jack Rock, y'all were married for how long?
55 years.
55 years. And your wife fell on some illness, and you were her caretaker through and through. And I so much respected that. Can you relate with that? You know, she says the person you married, you know, it's really several different people. And the key is the tolerance to grow together, because you changed the person you were how old were you when you got married?
27 or 28.
Along those times. That was when I first got married too. So you saw the adjustments, the shifts throughout life, and tolerance is not a good word, but acceptance and growing together had to be a key. You care to comment on that at all?
Well, anytime, what falls on my mind right now is what everybody goes through with probably in a relationship. Oh, sometimes my wife would say, and we had the perfect marriage. Never did she bother me or anything. I just, but every once in a while she would say something. Why would you do that? I said, baby doll. Oh, wait, this is always my answer. Baby doll, remember when you met me, what a great guy I am today instead of what I was when you met me. And you loved it. So no more questions. And she pretty well held to that. It didn't matter what I did. She pretty much didn't question me.
Right.
And I did some crazy stuff now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So look what sprung from that. You have beautiful children. Now, another thing Jack Wright don't talk about much, and we're not going to talk much about it now, but, he had the misfortune of losing a daughter at one point. You don't talk about that because I know that's a tough time, but your family went through a whole lot. But instead of doing that, you guys did that.
Yeah.
And so beyond that, you have two sons and a daughter now that are all extremely successful, family oriented. So the outcome of that is awesome. All those years together has served you well and continues to do so. You got, how many grandchildren do you got? You might not can count that high.
I lost count at 13.
And he's not being funny.
Derek's got the majority of it.
Him and Amanda. Amanda was with us before on one of our podcasts, as you probably remember.
Which Dwyer's got about 6 at his house too, But let me share all this with all of you, especially the young people that might, Zeb would be a good example. You never know when death is coming to a family member. And I'm going to share this with all of you. And I challenge you to be strong with it. When it comes down to it, if the father's not strong, the family's going to bust all to pieces. That's
the head of the household.
That is the man's job. My wife, when my daughter passed away at 15, if I hadn't been a strong father and jerked a knot in her neck, and just saying, but the man has got to be the man of the house sometime, and that would be the main time, because I'm going to share it with all of you, the ones that, because it happens to thousands of parents every year in the United States, losing a child. But I'm going to share with you what it felt like to me. Just give y'all a feeling of what it feels like to a man that, I'm just a man, worried about no child dying or not. But when it did happen, when it came home, it was the same thing when I stopped and thought about it, because this girl was my heart and my soul.
Mm-hmm.
It felt just like somebody had took my head, screwed it off of my shoulders, reached down in my body, got my heart and my soul out, and threw it in the river, the PD River.
Right.
Words cannot explain, but here's the catch to it, and I'm sharing this with all of you because you don't know. Be strong. If you don't, it will ruin, tear the whole family, just like what you were demonstrating and talking about. The man has got to be the man of the house in a situation like that.
Right. That's the most I ever heard Jack Rock. This is raw here, folks. That's the most I ever heard Jack Rock ever speak of that. And I do think it's very powerful. Let me read this. So, early relationships, and I'm going to quickly turn to Zeb here in a moment. But being yoked, if you're not yoking, you're joking. You got to be yoked with your potential spouse. And it simply says this in Corinthians 6:14, which says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness without lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? And that verse just tells you, you need to be yoked. For your marriage to stand a chance, you need to be yoked. So let's come full circle. Zeb, as I talk so often, this is one busy dude, and he's got a beautiful wife, and now they've got 2 young kids. So he's how long you been married, Zeb?
You asked me that before.
I did.
12 years, I think.
Well, that
2014, whatever that number is.
That long?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking
we got married young. I was 21.
Yeah. So you've experienced this, and this is when so much of you always hear the 7-year mark. This is when so much, sorry, West Florence. This is when so much trouble visits you. This is when the enemy, Satan, hits you for some reason, that 7-year mark where you get tired of your spouse, and so many people divorce at that 7-year mark. You've gone past that, but it's because your manly leadership, your strong character, your wife, sweet, and look, she's very accomplished on her own. But you're experiencing this now. You've got kids that you're running to daycare, to different little events. You're carving out this podcast stuff. Doing other work as well. She's very busy. Just speak. I mean, how difficult is it during these times, and how much do you guys depend on one another?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, obviously, and just kind of lean into the video a little bit more, right? This love thing or this relationship thing is a lot. It's a lot more work. It's a lot of give and take, and lean into what Jack said. There's got to be some stabilization there. A lot of the times when you're talking about kind of the ups and downs and what we've come across, obviously there's financial issues. That's the number one.
Always financial. It's early on. Finance always plays a part.
Yeah. Finances put such a stress on relationships in general, but marriages, and then number one predictor of divorce, finances. But then, even beyond that, you get no sleep when you have a 1, 2, 3 month old that doesn't want to sleep. And then you kind of get at each other on that, and, it kind of snowballs. And so even beyond that, we want to reach out and say, hey, we had a lot of help really early on with the kids and some other things because we had family around. They could come do, babysitting.
Yeah, you got a mother-in-law and father-in-law. Your parents are very much involved, which has added value tremendously when everybody wants to pitch in and help.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, it's like, maybe not this stage. We're kind of, on the back end of it from this aspect of, if any help is a lot of help when it comes to this. And so, just like my parents take care of me when I was younger, they're taking care of my kids. Hopefully I can return that and take care of them when they get a little bit older. And that's just the cycle of life that we go through. And kind of lean into this idea of relationships a little bit more is that, I mentioned it's a lot of give and take. People change. That's just the nature of who we are. That's how we grow. How we mature. And we can definitely grow together. And me and Maggie definitely have. And it's a lot of compromise. It's a lot of working to each other, being honest with each other. And so, at the end of the day, it's work. It is what it is. And if you're lazy, you don't want to work, you don't want to make compromises, you a little hard-headed, is going to make it I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to make it a lot harder. And as we mentioned earlier, the complementaryism that goes along with man and woman, it's like, if one's a little bit more hard-headed than the other, that's good. If they're both hard-headed, then you kind of up the creek a little bit, Rodney. That's
the yoking thing.
Speak on that one a little bit.
Well, I can't, because that's the yoking thing.
You under the bus. No.
Can I share something with you?
Please.
This will help all of you out there, especially if there's some young married people listening. This will help Zeb out. I won't never forget talking about families helping each other out. Well, my dad used to stop by the house every afternoon for about 10 minutes. Just hey, and he'd leave. Well, all my kids were little. Well, one day, show you where everybody goes through a tough time now. My wife had a good job, and I had a good job. Show you how tough times get. My daddy, when he left out the door, he left $100 bill laying on the counter. When he got in his car and left, my oldest daughter that passed away, she grabbed that $100 bill and ran. Me and Diane and the other two kids chased her all through the house and all in the yard. Hey, that's how tough times can get. Even though both of you got good jobs.
Yeah.
Listen, I think one of the biggest challenges that there is to a marriage is what y'all are talking about. The financial thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. It plays a big part.
$100 was a lottery
Yeah.
to us.
Sure. Yeah. So, the mother of my son, Zach, we were married for, oh gosh, I better not say because I don't quite remember. But, we remain best of friends today. Even in our divorce, we made a vow that we would never speak negatively about each other. Now I've got a son that is a doctor that I'm very proud of, but I'll never forget, we had help too. Her daddy came, and he was a colonel in the Marine Corps, and he came and spent about a week with us taking care of Zach when he was just a little old fella. And here's one thing that I'll never forget. When Zach was born, when we took him home from the hospital, put him in that car seat, brand new, right? I was driving like 20 miles an hour, and everybody was passing me. And this is before me and the Lord got real intimate. I was rolling down my window and cussing every one of them out. Slow down, you idiots. Don't you know I got a newborn in this car? And then when he came, he was washing dishes, clean up. He had Zach in his arm, slinging him around like he was a little monkey. And I was like, hey, man, don't you know that's a newborn? But he done had about 8 children at that time. So, yeah, it does help so much when you got supported families amongst your midst. It really does. Choosing that spouse is so important. And I mentioned a while ago a Jezebel spirit, which, comes in our midst, and that's there to destroy you. That's why you got a yoke. You got to be very careful early in relationships as you choose your spouse. There's one word that I hear so often, and it's the word narcissist. Have you guys heard that word till you sick in your stomach? Mm-hmm. Seems like everybody uses the word narcissist. And the thing is, the ones that use it are so often the narcissists themselves. All over social media, you hear the word narcissist. It does exist, and it's true.
Will you explain to us and audience what a narcissist is?
Well, and I think so many people know because it's an overused word. It really is a person that's just all about self. Controlling, all about self, not willing to take any responsibility. But the word is used too frequently, and they'll throw it out to their significant other real quick, especially in social media. My warning there is when you see that type of stuff, this goes back to my rant earlier, people on social media and putting their personal business out there. So often you hear them saying, well, they're narcissists. Let me suggest something to you. When you hear that, so often that's a self-reflection. You may be the narcissist yourself if you're using that word too frequently. I think we got a couple other videos. Let's take a look at Zeb, and this maybe gives you some pointers. Let's see.
What if the woman you're chasing is actually pulling you away from God?
The Jezebel spirit, which could be a man too, by the way.
Follow our hearts. But the truth is, your heart can lie to you. That perfect connection, those intense feelings, they don't always come from God. Sometimes they're a test. Not every open door is a blessing. Some are distractions designed to see if you'll choose your feelings over your faith. So how do you know if she's truly from God or if she's a spiritual trap? Let's expose the truth. The first thing you must realize is that physical attraction is not a spiritual confirmation. In our modern culture, we prioritize chemistry, that feeling of butterflies and excitement. But chemistry can be found with people who have no interest in your soul or your future. In the Bible, Samson was incredibly attracted to Delilah. She was beautiful, she was charming, and his heart demanded to be with her. But she was the very person designed to lead to his destruction. A woman sent by God will align with your calling, not distract you from it. God created the woman to be a helper, which in the original Hebrew implies a partner who rescues or supports a mission. If being with her requires you to silence your faith, skip your prayers, or ignore the goals God has placed in your heart, then she is not an Ezer or a helper. She is a detour. God will never send you a person who makes you a stranger to him. Alignment is far more important than chemistry, because
So we may continue with this video, but in the scripture it says it is good for a man, and I can't point to the exact verse. It's good for a man to find a good woman. Take note of that, because every word in the Bible means something. It didn't say the woman. So when we talk about soulmate, I don't want to get too far out there with that. Certainly when you find someone, you can consider your soulmate, and you can make them your soulmate. But there's many out there that you probably will or could match with. It says it's good to find a woman, not necessarily the woman. Jack Rock, you got a point there?
Question on what you're talking about and what the video just showed. How did Joseph end up with Mary? The scriptures tell us.
There you go. Answer your question.
Scriptures tell us. How did Joseph get to marry Mary? Didn't they already have kids too? Or did they? Was Jesus the first?
So Mary didn't have any kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they were other children.
Right. Do you know Jimmy
Not
Ford?
necessarily.
Jack used to stop by my house for some father advice. Don't know now if it did any good, laugh out loud, but still love him like a son. You remember Jimmy Ford?
Oh, man.
I'm friends with
Beautiful
Jimmy on
guy.
Facebook.
Yeah, love
I can
him.
tell by his post that he's
Every time I go by his house going to the beach, I got a guilt feeling for not stopping, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
We'll stop next
I
time.
know it. Yeah.
So you guys, how about this? Can you relate to this? So you've all dated before, right? Remember those first 3 months when you date somebody? Me and Lee now, we talk about this quite often. That first 3 months, you send in that imposter. It ain't really you, it's the best of you. For instance, if you date that girl and she knows you love football for that first 3 months, oh yeah, I love football. Let's go to some games. Let's do this, let's do that. 7 or 8 months later, don't know nothing about football, and I ain't speaking about Lee particularly. Don't know nothing about football, don't care nothing about football. So you got to be careful of that in initial dating. People will send, and not intentionally, and not ill-willed, but they'll send that imposter. We're all on our best behavior those first 3 months, right? Except for Zeb. Zeb's probably gives you what he's got to start with. Don't you, Zeb?
That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
There ain't no phony.
I bet Rodney was so cute over there. Flirting
I'll tell you,
in first 3 months, trying to make it work.
made them think I had money, but it didn't take them long to figure out I ain't got a dime.
hey, in your first dating, whatever you're making that you draw on Friday or whatever day, that's it. It's gonna come. We blowing that. If you like her,
Hey.
you're going to impress her.
We take her out to eat steak Friday. That payday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we eating bologna. Right? Whatever it takes.
Buying us 3 for the price of one.
Guys,
3.
think about today's environment, especially with this younger crowd, and either some older folks are falling victim to this. How about this online dating? And even beyond, we'll go back to online dating, but how to even beyond that? When I worked for the congressman, I even had friends, but I can't even tell you people that called me, hey, Rodney, what does it take to get this foreign girl over here in terms of visas?
Nothing.
Never met the person in their life, just chatted online And they were spending every dime asking me how could I help to get them over there. Now, we've sunk a pretty far piece when we've gone that route right there. And this online dating, and excuse me, lady, and some men are guilty of this too, but particularly women. These filters that you put on your dating sites. I mean, what you gonna do when we meet up and I don't even recognize you because it don't look like your picture? Think about all the obstacle and challenges that these young folks go through today, you know? And I think that is, quite honestly, I think that's a tool of Satan. If we're to circle back and we talk a lot of spiritual stuff, often that's a tool of Satan. Agree? Disagree? Thoughts?
Absolutely. That's kind of my generation, but we were together and I got married before all of this kind of hit real heavy. And, a lot of my friends, a lot of people I know, have gone through this iteration of, what's it called? Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, all of these other things. And it's kind of reached a point now where they're giving up on it, right? It's run its course. The logical conclusion is that no one really wants a long-term relationship on these platforms. They just want to meet. And just to bring back your word, you're narcissistic, is that's mainly the people on most of these apps. And so after the first, I don't know, year or so, everybody that wanted to find somebody, they were able to find somebody. It's the numbers game to an extent. And the ones that didn't were the ones that were still left on the platforms. And that's kind of what they're dealing with now. And there's been a lot of pullback off of these platforms and trying to actually get out in the real world. So it's a cycle, man. It's
Zib,
a cycle.
To your point, and I wish I would have dug a little deeper in this, but I did see a stat that your generation, I get all that I get all that confused. But I know it was your generation because I checked the age. They've just, a little bit younger than you, they've almost given up. And I think to your point, that's kind of why it's become so complicated. But less people are getting married now and at an older age because of all this rigmarole, all these hurdles that they got to go through to really find a decent person to date.
Well, there's a lot of variables here. I mean, that is a big one. I think just cultural aspects across the board, not even to hone in on things, is
I know what you're laughing
my
at.
guys are in the chat.
There's people, he's got his audience in there too. He says Seb's using filters. Hey, guess what, Mark? He is. See, he don't allow me and Jack Rock to use filters. He got the control, so he's got that filter just on us. What you see me and Jack Rock, this is the real deal. That's filtered right there.
I appreciate the compliments, guys. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables here. I mean, the culture just in general is one, and we can if we can dive into like ideological background and why there's such a mix up between men and women, and which is a major hurdle to get people together now, right? Women are just naturally more left wing. Men are naturally more right wing. The left wing women want right wing men, except for they don't want right wing men. They want left wing boys, but anyway, it's a massive psychological operation that's happening across the board on a global scale, and this dating app thing is just one aspect of it.
Out of control. So Jet Rock, Derek's with us again today. An interesting point. He said he heard on the radio this week the average. Well, you can't read. I don't want you to read that. What do you think the average first date cost a man? And look, men still should pay for the date. At least that's from my perspective. I don't want to go Dutch with a woman. If I ask her out, I want to pay for it. Now we've got punks out there that's saying let's share this meal. Now if I ask you out, I'm gonna pay for it.
That's such a dated phrase.
Go Dutch. Are we different?
That's crazy. Okay, well, I haven't heard that in a long time.
But you agree with the concept?
Yeah.
Would you still pay for it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, accept my Dutch concept. So Jack Rock, what do you think the first average date, according to your son Derek, who's normally pretty accurate with his information, what do you think it costs the average first date now?
That's not hard to figure out. We'll do it right quick. If I go to the hockey game tonight and get good seats, $50 a piece. That's
Okay.
$100. Take her out to eat after the game, $50 a head. That's $200. You got to pay her for going with you at least $100.
No, you do.
You gotta pay that hourly rate.
I'm saying I'm giving her $100 for going with me in public. So we talking $300 easy.
Okay.
It wasn't that far off at two.
No, but you're a big spender, so 180, which I still find incredible. I'll tell you what I did.
There's no way it's $180 right now. Like I'm not saying he's wrong on the stat.
I
He's,
think
Did
he's
you
right.
go to the-
I think he's right.
Did
I
you
think
go
180 is
buy
low.
popcorn when you were at the game?
no, but it ain't cheap.
Hey,
Did you buy a hot dog?
No.
Did you buy a drink?
We did buy a corn dog.
Listen,
Hey,
Like $6 or something.
if you just go to one of the franchise restaurants, not anything big, say Texas Longhorn, and look, if you have a adult beverage, you're not gonna get out of there under $150. You just ain't gonna
that's
do it.
pushing it,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So check this out, and I probably ought not to tell this or Taco Bell. That Ronnie, yes sir, that's the kind of date I need to go on. So look, the girl I mentioned earlier on when I was young, had a first crush on. So my freshman year in college, we came back home, and so I did take her out. We went to Western Sizzler. I borrowed my mom and daddy's car. I had $22. The gas tank wasn't even a quarter full. We went to Western Sizzler. Remind you, might have had $25. I spent like $15. We both got a steak. We went to a little bar at the Holiday Inn. I think it was called Sid's back in the day. Some of the old timers might remember that. I could buy her one beer. I had one beer, and I was broke. I really needed to get gas going home. You know what I did when I was coming home from Florence on 995? I was swinging the steering wheel to make sure the gas kept flowing so I wouldn't run out of gas. So $25 was my first date. $180, I guess I'd be single the rest of my life, fellas.
Oh boy.
So there's shows today. Have you guys ever heard? You don't watch TV. I don't watch a lot of it. 90 Day Fiancé, where they'll go and they'll put people together for 90 days and they're supposed to get married after 90 days. How crazy is that? And none of them work. None of them work on this time. Very popular TV show though, but none of them work.
Well, reality TV is fake. Anyway.
And
Don't.
nothing real about it, is there? When you got a camera in front of you the whole time, I mean, how much reality is that? And this Survivor thing, come on, you don't think more people are gonna get bit by snakes?
Answer this for me. Relationships. I got a buddy of mine that, are you listening to me? Look at me when I'm talking to you, boy.
I'm listening to you a little bit. Don't make me come over here with these biceps. You've been sick. You looking puny over there. You've been sick.
I lost 8 pounds.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hey,
Really?
say.
And didn't have no room to
You about
lose.
to blow away.
Huh?
So you about to blow away.
Answer this for me. Relationships.
Okay.
Got a buddy of mine been married 5 times. Last wife left. He gets on the Instagram, whatever you're talking about, and picks up a woman of y'all so much. Well, he meets her, lives where I live now, meets her in Canada because she can't get in the United States.
Wow.
Now, what is wrong with, I mean, what woman would go with a man that's already been married 5 times?
Desperation.
You got an acquaintance of yours, a lifetime acquaintance of yours, that told me he'd been married 9 times.
One of my friends?
Yes.
Great. Dave, how
9
about-
times.
Tell me after the podcast so I can give him a hard time.
That's
That's incredible.
crazy.
Let's venture on something else here. And I'm so reluctant to say this because it grosses me out. And y'all going to say, you little punk Rodney. In your relationships, is there any boundaries? Because I've got one big boundary that is even hard for me to say. Bathroom etiquette. with your significant others, and this may be going too far. Sorry, folks. You go to the bathroom in front of your significant other? Is that a boundary? Does it bother you?
What now? Run that back.
Would you go to the bathroom and sit down in front of your significant other? Is that a boundary?
In front of what?
Your significant other.
Your wife.
Did y'all do that, or is that out of bounds?
Man, you're sick. Who would even think of that?
People do that. People do that. People do that.
Boy, I was born too long ago.
So we were born the same time because
It's just a non-issue to me.
See, these
Just a non-issue.
These newbies.
Like, why are y'all even like? Why does it like? What does it matter?
See, these newbies. That does not matter to them. They'll make all kind of
Why
noise.
would I want to watch someone else use the restroom?
Nobody's watching. It's just.
I would. When you
Why would you want to
in the
inconvenience
bedroom-
yourself
Hey,
in your own
okay.
house?
My fault, folks.
Okay.
My fault.
In the bathroom, letting your
Me neither, Ronnie. Me neither. Nor does I make any bodily function sounds in front of a significant, really anybody, but particularly a significant other. You make
It's
bodily
just a
sounds.
non-issue. It's
See,
like.
he's not even blushing.
So like if
this is nothing
somebody's
here.
showering in the bathroom, you can't go pee. I'm lost here. Like this is mind blowing to me that y'all would inconvenience yourself so much in your own home.
So perhaps I would ponder the stand-up business, but certainly not the sit-down business.
why question. Why would I be in the bathroom using the commode and my female friend sitting on a stool looking at me in my eyes when we could be in the bedroom, me with a diaper on and her spanking me?
Oh,
Now, why would I waste my time?
friends, I
You
apologize.
got to make a decision, right? You got to let him go or you got to stop him.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a decision here.
You the one started it.
Time out. I did. Time out.
Please spank me. I'm being bad boy.
Time out. I guess.
Blame Rodney. Blame Rodney. Blame
Yeah.
Rodney.
Sorry, I ever brought it up. But you know, it is a.
I don't know. Somebody says, I don't know what Jack thinks.
In other words, really what you're explaining is how sick some relationships could become.
So we ain't gonna say sick because sick ain't the proper word. Sick is not the proper word. I guess it's a generation thing. To me, that's taboo, and has always been taboo. But to his generation, that's
No. I don't know. I wouldn't blanket at my
You
generation.
wouldn't?
I know the people that are like
Okay.
that.
It's just an individual.
I think it's a relationship thing.
Okay. You think the relationship's stronger if you can do that?
I think you aren't hiding anything. It's like whatever. It's just there.
This is practicing.
It's like you're trying to deny the nature of the human by blindly walking around as if something isn't happening that happens to everyone.
So it does happen to everyone, but I just think there's boundaries.
You know, the only thing I could see that would accomplish doing that
What?
is you're fixing to have to take care of a shut-in, and you got to get used to a diaper.
So
Where are we getting diapers from? This is crazy.
now that's a generational thing. Now it's a generational thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's generation for us when you get our age. I got turned down once.
When we get your age, I ain't there yet. When we get your age, I don't mind you including me in some things, but not everything, Jack Rock.
I got turned down in a club at the door the other night at the beach because they asked me, there ain't nothing but old people down there now.
That SOS.
They asked me if I had my diaper on. I said, no. Well, you can't get in then. You talking about diapers, eat that one.
Let me see what I got on.
Ronnie got Jack started on this one, son.
Are we even on topic anymore?
I don't know. I don't think Jack knows what the topic was to start with. So,
Well, I've been sick, medicated.
Guys, what else we got? I about run out of
I think
material
we got
here.
one more video.
Okay, please. Oh, good, yeah, pretty good.
Let me get it pulled up on 1 second. Sorry. All right.
People are out here praying for a soulmate, while completely ignoring the signs God is already sending them. And that's exactly why so many Christians end up in the wrong relationship, or worse, alone and confused. So before you swipe right on another person, watch this, because God has already been speaking. You just didn't know what to listen for. The first way God reveals your soulmate is so simple, most people skip right past it. It's through peace, not butterflies, not chills, peace. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." That peace is a signal. When God is in something, there's a settledness in your spirit. You're not anxious. You're not forcing it. You're not convincing yourself. You just know. But when something is off, that same peace disappears, and most people ignore that. They hold on anyway because the person is attractive or funny or ticks all the boxes on their list. Here's the truth. The right person won't steal your peace. They'll add to it. Way number 2, God reveals your soulmate through consistent prayer over time. Not a one-time prayer, consistent prayer. Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not." Here's what's wild about prayer. When you genuinely bring someone before God over an extended period, He either deepens that connection or quietly removes the desire. Both are answers. Both are God guiding you. A lot of people rush past this step because they want clarity fast. But God uses the waiting period in prayer to reveal character, theirs and yours. Way number 3, God reveals your soulmate through alignment of values. Not just vibes, values. Amos 3:3 asks, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" That's not a rhetorical question. That's God telling you something. Two people moving in completely different directions cannot build one life together. It just doesn't work. Do they love God the way you do? Do they handle money, family, and purpose with the same conviction? Because attraction fades, good looks age, but shared values? That's the foundation a marriage actually stands on. Way number 4, God uses people around you. Now this one is interesting, because your community sees things you can't see when you're emotionally involved. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety." The people who know you best, your godly friends, your pastor, your family, when they consistently speak well of someone in your life, don't dismiss that. God speaks through community, and the opposite is also true. If everyone who loves you and fears God is raising red flags about someone, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. And the 5th way, God reveals your soulmate through purpose alignment. This one separates the good relationship from the God-ordained relationship. Genesis 2:18 says, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him." Notice the word helpmeet, not just a companion, a helper. Someone built to complement your specific assignment on earth. So ask yourself, does this person push you closer to your purpose or pull you away from it? Do they sharpen you, challenge you to grow, or do they distract you from everything God called you to? Your soulmate won't just love you, they'll make you better. Here's what all 5 of these have in common. None of them require you to panic. None of them require you to force something. And none of them require you to settle. Because God is not confused about who He has for you. He wrote the plan before you were even born. Psalm 37:23 says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in His way." Your steps ordered.
So guys, trust in God. God's going to send you that person, and emotions fade, good looks fade, except for you, Jack Rock. I guess you're going to be beautiful the rest of your life, huh?
I got something to hide my looks with.
I thought you were just covering up pretty. Are you covering up ugly?
Yes. Very ugly.
So, guys, I've actually learned quite a bit here today in relationships, and we got a little bit off track.
You didn't tell us how Joseph got up with Mary.
Well, do tell.
And he was just mentioning that about Joseph and Mary.
Well, do tell.
How they got together?
Yes.
Same way that the animals went to the ark from all over the world. How? How'd they know to go to the ark?
Ordained by God.
God led them to the ark.
Right.
2 at a time or 4, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Same way with Joseph with Mary.
Right.
Scripture says God led Joseph straight to Mary.
Right.
He had a plan.
Be patient and wait on the Lord when it comes time to yoke with that special person. Like I'm convinced our devil dog right here is done. I'm convinced that you did because, again, it was how many years of marriage?
55.
55. That's awesome, brother. You've got that and more waiting on you there, Zebulon.
That's a long time. I think we can.
No, it ain't.
See.
Hey,
Goes by fast, doesn't it?
time travel,
Goes by
son.
fast.
It is starting to speed. I'll give you that. It is starting to speed up. I'm 30.
You better hope
I'm 34.
You better hope you can hang on to yours.
And I'm going to reiterate why it passes so fast. Why have I said before on here it passes fast? Because you're enjoying life.
That's right.
Before you hit you in the penitentiary and see how slow it goes. Telling you.
Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this edition. A lot of engagement today. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope that you've gleaned some information. If you're a young couple, I hope this served as some great information for you. It did for me as well. Proud to know you guys. I enjoy the Lion's Den. We'll be back next week. Hey, you've got some topics for us? Send us our way. We don't mind. If we can tackle bathroom issues, guys, the sky's the limit. We can talk about anything.
I got one more before you close.
Well, you do it, brother.
No one told us what Adam's response was when he seen Eve the first time.
You tell us.
Wow.
I think when people see you for the first time, I think their response is wow, too.
Maybe so.
We are the front porch of the weekend. We hope we have ushered you into a good weekend. Gonna be a great one. Probably gonna get some water from our garden tomorrow, which I very much look forward to, guys. We need the water, right?
Yep.
A lot to do this weekend. You heard Flowtown Flows report. Until next week, we will see you then, dear friends.
Welcome to the Lion's Den. Grab a seat and join the conversation. Let's dive in.